My hair is just slightly crazy, but it's also feeling the vibe of this full moon, which is already passed. So don't look at this the wrong way. We're past the full moon energy. We're past all the crazy hectic energy, but we're really trying to take this next chapter seriously so we can really get into our state of abundance, so we're actually flourishing and striving, so we're not necessarily going back to anything. So a lot of us are going to see some of these wounds come up and some of this abandoned success. And I'm going to talk about this right now because there have been some things that have come up recently, especially super recently. So really understand that, you're not necessarily being tested by the universe, but there's always going to be these things happening around you. And it's really about choosing your own battles and when to accept defeat, but also to know that, like, even when you are accepting a loss, you're not necessarily losing, because sometimes there are people around us, places, things that want to really test our limits and try to attack us and, poke the bear. And so it's really about just cutting that down, cutting ties with that version of yourself that really felt attacked by that sort of energy anyway, because you don't really have to feed into that type of energy. Like, I know sometimes it feels like we do, like we have to step up and, be there for ourselves. In a lot of way that is very important. But at the same time, choosing your battles is really about knowing when to take a step back and be the observer too, so you can really focus on yourself and come back to the things that are necessary. So we'll see a lot of this abandoned success. Like, we'll see some of our old projects sitting on a shelf, some ideas, some like content that we've been meaning to like work on, but we have taken like all of these steps back and just got caught up in life, which is completely normal. It's like, again, this isn't the message that you gotta just do exactly what you were doing before and just work hard and come back to everything. But yeah, you should come back to everything, but you're not here to accept defeat in this situation. It's not about accepting defeat. It's not about losing. It's not about being shamed to come back to what you've been working on. But it's really about reevaluating your purpose, reevaluating what you want. Trial and error is really important, because trial and error, knowing like what doesn't work and what will work, and coming back to that after you've tested some things, like, you can come back to your successes. I know that word abandon is very scary for a lot of us, but it's not the end of the world. It's not going to be your defeat. However, there is going to be some strife, and this isn't necessarily to break you, it's not to shake you, but it's to kind of just, be like, hey, is this what you want to be doing? Is this what we're doing? Okay. So know that, we're not here to just be hard on ourselves, and, what are you really accomplishing if you're not, happy with your successes, if you're not happy and you're not, satisfied with what you've done work-wise, like, you're going to find a lot of this defeat anyway. Like, you're going to look at things from a negative perspective because you're constantly judging yourself and the world around you and the things that are happening. So it makes it really hard to hone back into like practicing what you preach. So the abandoned success isn't necessarily here to tell you like, hey, you should come back to this, let's get back to it. But it is here to tell you, like, hey, you've tried some things, those things didn't work, these things did. Let's figure out some sort of balance between all of this so we can really take some true action. So take a deep breath. The link between breathing and our sensual expression cannot be overstated. With full life-giving breath, we can activate our vitality and experience our body's pleasure more wholly. With a short, shallow breath, we are cut off from our sensations. We create stress response and our health suffers. So breathe in oxygen. Take those pauses to reevaluate and reassess and just put things in different compartments. Write things down. If you're not really good at like meditating and coming down to a solid state where you can think about all of these things, write things down. Put a list together where like there's pros and there's cons, and you go through each of them, mark them, give them points if you have to, and just see which has the heavier points for whatever it is that you're testing, and just use that as a form of making decisions, because sometimes it's not always easy because we don't know what's going to be at the end of the road. We're not sure where this path is going to lead us. So it's important to take a long nourishing breath and in through your nose, pulling the air from your expanding stomach for 3 seconds, and just breathe in that beautiful air, because life is here to be experienced. It's not here to test you necessarily or judge you or put you into this specific place, because the universe isn't going to just know always where you should be, because where you should be isn't necessarily always due to our past lives. A lot of it has to do with our presence, because our past lives, one, we don't remember any of that, and two, even if you do believe in reincarnation, try your best to meditate for the rest of your life and figure out all the things that you should be doing on this path. It's not going to happen. Okay, I love you, but sometimes we're here to experience in real time what we want to be doing. So focus on that and let things happen and let things work out. And the universe has this kind of like connection of knowing through you trying different things. So it's going to look at like your pleasure receptors, it's going to look at your dopamine receptors, your serotonin receptors, and it's going to make decisions based off of what is triggered and what is being manipulated. So it's not going to be something that you can necessarily hone in and see and just know I love you, but it's going to really take some trial and some error and some, just doing different things to really see what you want and what makes you joyous, what brings you pleasure and satisfaction from what you're doing. So whether that be through career, relationships, friendships, just experiencing and doing new things, like, we have to, at some point, just allow ourselves to experience new things. Oh, I like this one. Hungry like the wolf, inside you is yearning. I'm hungry, by the way. Ravenous beast. It's filled with insatiable lust, greedy and grasping for carnal embrace. This is your shadow talking. A lot of your shadow is going to try to make you do new things so it can really activate what is actually locked in within you, because there are things from our past life, going back, like there are things from our past lives that can be reactivated. So a lot of this is going to kind of bring you back to your carnal, your shadow, your main core, so you can get tapped into these sensations and these pleasure senses. So it lies in wait until we're brave enough to unlock its door, but unlock it we must. Giving yourself permission to want what you want and go after what you desire is the difference between a hungry wolf and a caged and angry, vengeful monster. So don't let yourself be that vengeful monster. Don't let yourself not experience things because you want to be subtle, you want to be presenting yourself a certain way to others. Like it's not going to really benefit you in the long run. So, because sometimes we're here to impress other people, and sometimes those people disappear from our lives, and it's like, well, what are you really impressing and why? Like, honestly, I know there's lipstick on here. I'm sorry. It bugs me too. But the thing is, no matter what we are tested with, it's always very important to be true to yourself, but also be romantic and realistic, but also stepping out of that realism and that romance, because there's some carnal things with our shadow that we really got to pay respect to, because the lust, desire, wanting things, wanting money, wanting pride, wanting people to see you and be attracted by you is so normal. A lot of us will be like, well, I'm in my own skin. Natural is beauty. I get it. I totally do. But some of us like wearing all this makeup. Some of us like trying weird foods. Some of us like doing things that other people find unorthodox, because we're not here to be here for other people. We're here for ourselves and our own experiences. We deeply, it's deep in there, but we do know what we want to experience. Some things just have to be activated, like the hungry wolf. So don't allow yourself to be this caged demon, because that's just going to infuriate you and make things even worse. So practice those desires. Practice feeding into that lustfulness, but make it something that's sensible and real. Relationship, you want that relationship to be healthy with it. So don't go out and do a bunch of things with people. That's not what I'm saying. But, tap into that with your partner and be this adventurous person, so you can experience new things and see what it is that's wanting to be let loose, what is wanting to be seen, and what is wanting to be experienced, because those things are where real pleasure actually lies. So don't allow yourself to not experience things because you want to be this character or this ideal person, because those things in the end aren't really going to fulfill you with the satisfaction you seek. A lot of older generations will give you this sort of advice to try things while you're young, do things, don't tie down so young, a lot of us were married at a young age, I'm just saying. So it's not always going to be about what society wants and expects from you, but it's really about what you want and expect from yourself. And that you have to really meditate and sit with, because we're not going to know right away. We're not going to be able, some of us can, but we're not always going to be able to really know what the outcome of a situation is. So it's really important to test the water as well and be in the research of what you're trying to practice and get better at. So whether it be like kinks or, new activities, going to exotic places, or trying exotic foods, like take a bite out of something that looks raunchy, because sometimes that food is really good. I'm just saying, I like street food. It can be so questionable sometimes, but some of the best food comes from the hole in the wall, bro. I have had some delicious burrito pizza from some questionable buildings. So, and I didn't get sick, okay? Just so you know. It's going to allow you to experience new things, and that's really like the big game of this, because there's a lot of pleasure in trying new things. But sometimes, again, we got to take that leap of faith with this next step, this next process, this next chapter. So really know that the universe isn't here out to get you. It's here to just see what will be activated with different things, different pleasure centers, and different activities and different people. So allow yourself to try. And if you fail, it's not going to be the end of the world. I know that that's crazy to think about, but it really isn't. Like, if you fail a task or you fail doing something, that doesn't necessarily mean you've lost. That just means that whatever that was didn't work out for you. And maybe it didn't work out for you for a very, very good reason, because you had these weird, strange expectations because of society and their expectations. So yours were thwarted and corrupt. And so you had this idea of what life was going to be, but the universe saw a lot more of what could have been and was like, you know, I don't think this is what you really want based off of what we've seen. Okay, I love you, but we're gonna try this now, because that, trust me, you ain't gonna like it. I love you, but you is not going to like it. So just accept that sometimes, because it's not that big of a deal. I mean, sometimes it really is crushing. Let's be real and honest. Sometimes it is pretty soul crushing when things don't work out with a person, or with a place, with a job, with your education. Those things can feel like failures sometimes, like really big failures. But trust me, that's your ego being mean. That is you being mean to yourself, because you had these crazy expectations of the way things were going to work out, and the universe is here to tell you softly, like, hey, you don't have to live up to these crazy expectations of yourself. You don't have to live up to these societal expectations. You can try all of this other stuff and be really easy and breezy and still get the things that you want. Okay? I know sometimes that's hard to conceptualize, but that's the point. You want to be surprised sometimes about what the universe wants to give you. So just accept that defeat and hone it down and embrace it, because it's here to love you and teach you some things that you didn't know. I hope you enjoyed today's reading. If you didn't enjoy today's reading, I want you to hit that like and subscribe button, because it helps me help you, and I love you. Okay? I do. Even if you don't love me. Okay, bye.